So, let me take you back to a time before the internet took over our lives, when everything was still fresh and full of potential. I was enrolled in my local junior college, just trying to make my way through life. A little while into the semester, I made a big decision. I moved in with my girlfriend, Lucy. We thought it was a smart move, saving on rent and all that. One night, Lucy mentioned she invited a friend from her class over for a game night. I thought, sure, that sounds fun. We ended up inviting a couple of other friends too, and it turned out that Lucy's friend Sarah was someone I recognized from high school. We weren't exactly best friends, but we got along just fine. As the weeks rolled on, Sarah started coming over more frequently. Game nights, movie marathons, you name it. She even brought her boyfriend Jay a couple of times, but honestly, he was the odd one out. Quiet, standoffish. He never really fit in with our group. We were polite, of course, but it was clear that no one was comfortable with him around. Luckily, he only joined us 2 or 3 times before he found excuses to bail. Then, one day, everything changed. Sarah called Lucy, crying. She needed someone to talk to, and of course we welcomed her with open arms. When she got there, the story unfolded, and it was horrifying. Jay had been getting increasingly upset about Sarah spending time at our place and started throwing accusations around, accusing her of cheating. With me? With Lucy? Who knows? It was ridiculous. Things escalated quickly. He confronted her, verbally assaulting her with some truly nasty names. And during the chaos, when she tried to leave, he shoved her back. Just like that, she tripped over a coffee table and fell, bruising her lower back. Lucy told me about the bruise later. Sarah showed it to her, and I could feel the anger bubbling inside me. I wanted to confront Jay, to beat him up for what he did. But here's the thing. I'm a big guy, but I've never been in a fight. Violence wasn't my style, but revenge? Now that was a different story. At that time, I was working as a student employee in the administration building at the college. I had access to student records, class schedules, you name it. And with that knowledge, my plans started to form. The last day to drop or add classes was approaching, and I had a brilliant idea. I looked up Jay's student ID in the system and found all the information I needed. On that fateful day, I snuck into the enrollment office, picked up the dedicated phone, and with a few key presses, I canceled every single one of his classes. But that wasn't all. I went a step further. I enrolled him in every class that had a course fee attached to it. Why? Because if he owed money, he wouldn't be able to get his transcripts or even register for classes again. Here's the kicker. Jay was a foreign student. If he wasn't enrolled in a certain number of units, he could be kicked out of the country. I wish I could tell you what happened next, but I was careful. I didn't want to get traced back to my little scheme, so I kept my mouth shut. However, I did get a little satisfaction knowing that Sarah wouldn't have to see him in class anymore. She told me about Tuesday, the day they shared an English class. Jay was there, but someone new was in his spot. The teacher was taking roll, and guess what? Jay's name wasn't on the list. He tried to argue, but it was all in vain. The teacher had the official roster, and he was nowhere to be found. Sarah never saw him in class again after that. I couldn't help but feel a rush of satisfaction. I didn't know what became of him afterward. Eventually, I looked up his schedule again, and all those classes with fees were gone. It looked like he was out of options. Did he get kicked out of school? I didn't want to jump to conclusions, but I couldn't help but hope so. Looking back, I sometimes wonder if I went too far, but then I remind myself, you mess with my friends, and you'd better be prepared for the consequences. So what do you think? Was my revenge too harsh, or did I do the right thing? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below.